wants to tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. It feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, roll like thunder, gonna shake the ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, my name is Wyatt Milam, and I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home in Canova, you will find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that golden boot pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Parmar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
And if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
And hello and welcome to the WolfMan's Call. That's right. My name is Dale Wolfley. I'm the Wolfman. And if you can't see it, man, check it out. The WolfMan's Call, one of the first new stages of the studio. Hope you're having a good time today. Hope you're ready to go. It's the first time we're going at 3 o'clock all week long. We're going to have some great guests this week, and we're going to have today the Frank Fear Hour, and we got Darryl Talley when he's with the Brotherhood football celebration a few weeks ago. Just doing some good things. Talk about him and possibly going to the NFL Hall of Fame. It's time to kick that up, man, for the DT the King, and it's always great to get with him, and you'll see that. And we're going to have him on live as well. And then we're going to have some guests, like you're going to have the original Italian Stallion, Bo Orlando. I mean, the safety. In 1980, he was a team captain. Great player for WVU. He's a legend, so much so. But he also went and played so many years with the NFL. And now he's at Berwick. He's right where in his hometown of Berwick. That's where, Charlie Fedorko, Tommy Robsock, who's also going to be on the show, talking about his son Anthony and the recruiting process. And of course, Kurt Keel was one of the original guys. So Berwick, PA, used to be a real big thing. Oh, don't get me wrong. Jake the Snake Couchner came out of Berwick, went to Notre Dame, and the story, he came back to here. So we had some really cool things, man. And the first thing I got to show you, besides, of course, the logo, and we're gonna go ahead and get into this. And I just love this. And my guys at Davison Brothers. I've showed this on the internet before, just from the show, but I can't help it. I got to show it again. So let me get to this. The Davison Brothers, and this is going to be Darryl Talley, and then we're going to get into the Frank Fear Hour and all that good stuff. But before, let me finish my intro with this. The question this week is, are we football winning the transfer portal war? Now, we just got another receiver yesterday, which is really cool, and out of Marshall, and that's E.J. Horton, a 6 foot, 180-pound receiver. Flipped him from Colorado. I guess that's a little payback for the other guy that we lost. I think it was Ellis out of from Baylor that flipped to Colorado. I'll tell you, I can't keep track of this. You can flip here, you can flip there. I mean, my goodness, man. I would have loved to have gotten recruited twice. Can you imagine the steaks I would have eaten? Oh, you got to be kidding me. But anyways, let's go ahead. Let's get it with my Davison Brothers. Kick this off the right way. It's Monday. Let's have some fun.
Almost heaven.
Yeah.
West Virginia. Blue Ridge Mountain and the Shenandoah River. Life is over there Younger than the mountain, been floating like a breeze. Country road, take me home.
Hey, Daddy!
To the place I belong. Oh, West Virginia, Mountain Mama,
Have a new album out.
take me home.
You gotta check it out. It's all over the place.
Country road. Well, all my memories
Honey, this Davidson.
gather round her.
Man.
There's a lady and a stranger to blue water.
What a
Sing it with dark and dusty.
what a good
Painted on the sky. Whiskey taste of moonshine, girl. Teardrop in my eye. Country roads, everybody, take me home.
Yeah, baby!
To the place
One day, Mary.
I belong. Oh, West Virginia, Mountain Mama,
Yeah.
take me home. Country road, it's great to be in West Virginia.
Let's sit here. Believe it,
I
baby.
hear a voice in the morning hour, she calls me. Radio reminds me of my home far away. When I'm driving down that road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. You're
That's
told
it.
yesterday, everybody. A country road. Come on, boys, get your hands up. Take me home, hey, hey, to the place. Oh, I belong. Oh, West Virginia, Mountain Mama,
Yeah, baby.
take me home.
Yes.
Country road,
Listen, brother. Home is
yeah,
where the heart
take me
is,
home.
baby. That's your new album.
Down a country road. Let's go!
Baby, yeah. Mountaineers! Yes. And we are back again. I'm the Wolfman, Dale Wolfley, and we have Tommy too, Tommy Lopez. Tommy, we just keep moving along. Second hour is now about 1:20 into the show, and we've had a couple commercials, DT, but we got something here special, man, that we just keep bringing player and player and player, whether it be current, whether it be past, whether it be the King, Superman,
Oh my
Spider-Man, Darryl Talley. What's up?
Boom!
What's up, DT?
What's going on, Wolf? How you guys doing?
Oh my gosh, we're
This ought to
doing
be fun.
great, man. We're so happy to have you, and you know, besides your loyalty to WVU and everything that you've been doing, especially in the last few years, you're up here this weekend. You're out with the varsity club, with the alumni of the Brotherhood golfing today. And you're here now, and you're here in the weekend and the game tomorrow, and of course a couple other events. So coming up here, doing your thing, man, spreading your love. What's it like to be back now at WVU? Because it's a little bit different now than it was then.
A little bit different now than it is then. Yes, indeed it is. I tell you what, I had my socks knocked off today. I actually ate ate lunch at the facilities building, and wow, what a difference. It's nothing like Towers lunch.
Yeah.
Think back to that. That's how I had to have all my meals were in Towers. And when I looked at the way that they have their setup, that's truly first class. And I really think that guys should start taking advantage of it because it's a beautiful situation.
Yeah.
It is.
Hey, Tommy, go ahead. I'm going to let you ask a question because I got something I want to get into with him. So you talk about what he wants to eat for his food. Go ahead. I know you got something. Give me the shirt.
Listen, man, we know Spider-Man got a great diet and everything. Listen, I want to talk, I'm sure that you are as well. I want to thank you for, we're talking about our Mountaineer Brotherhood here.
Yes.
And you've always been a great teacher, okay? And to all us young Mountaineer brothers, and, we joked a little bit before the session started about even your pops
Yes.
teaching all of us, okay? So when the dads and the families and everyone comes together as a brotherhood and you guys teach to us, what does that mean to you as one of the leaders of the Brotherhood, man?
Well, what that means to me is it means that I'm not letting it die with me. I'm taking something that was given to me and passing it on to someone else. Because if I give it to somebody freely and let them learn what I've learned from it, then guess what? I'm going to be an awful happy person, and that may make a difference in that person's life. So that's the reason why I do that. I try and help as many people as I can, because guess what? If you don't help somebody, first of all, why are we even there? Because I got one thing I said earlier today. Put everybody in a locker room. Make them live in a locker room for a year. You take everybody that's a citizen, make them live in a locker room for a year, we'll come out with much better people, because they'll learn how to live with each other. They'll learn how to deal with each other. And it won't be all of this garbage that we have to deal with every day. So, I learned that from a great teacher, my dad. And what he told me was, you judge every man in every book on its own merits. Everything sits on its own bottom. Every tub sits on its own bottom, no matter what. It's got to have a bottom. If it don't have a bottom, it can't sit. It's got to go.
Right. Simple rule.
Yeah, that's so true, man. I love hearing you say it, because when you teach and when you give, usually it's a painful situation.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is painful to watch some people going through what you've already went through, and if you think to yourself, "Dang, I wish I'd have got here just about a week earlier or a month earlier," you wouldn't have had to do that. If you'd have only did this, it would have came down this way. Well, guess what? That's woulda, coulda, shoulda. I'm not in the woulda, coulda, shoulda business. I'm in the results business. I need results from everything that I'm doing. And I want to see people happy.
Absolutely. Now, this is my schedule.
I know, that's why I gave it back.
Okay, I said you can have the book.
He's double checking. He's double checking.
I had the schedule, and I'm like, wait a minute,
double
that's not
checking.
right. I don't need that. I gave it back.
No, you did. Michelle, no, I got it back from DT. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's move in this direction. And the years that you spend in the NFL, and we've talked about this. I've actually had you on my show, the WolfMan's Call. You've been on other shows, and there's a real momentum coming about swinging and saying, hey, Darryl Talley, and all the years that you had, all-time leading tackler with the Buffalo Bills, never missed a game with the Buffalo Bills ever in your career, playing along Bruce Smith. I mean, you had some of the great ones, Cornelius Bennett. I could just go on and on down the list, and all the Super Bowls you went to. It's time for you to get into the Pro Hall of Fame.
Boom!
I would think so. But you know what? I've heard different excuses that were given to me. I heard the excuse that there's already too many of you in here, and I said, well, my question to that is, so you're punishing us for being good for a decade?
Yeah.
I mean, that was my only retort. There's nothing else I could say, because it's up to them, it's up to the voters and everybody else. But I think I've done enough to get in, and after looking at it and some of the numbers, yeah.
So tell us, how can your fans help influence the process for you? Can we send emails, letters? What outreach can your Mountaineer Brotherhood and all of Mountaineer Nation take to help you get in?
I don't know. I think that's probably going to be a lot of outreach.
Well, I'm doing it already.
Yeah.
We're doing it. We're here doing it.
We're here doing it now.
Right.
We're doing it. That's what we're doing now. So I don't particularly know how the process works, because I'm like this. I'm the type of person that I'm not a get involved and try and pump my own story. I'm not a big rah-rah guy for Darryl. I'm a rah-rah guy when it comes to doing something as a group, as a unit, as something that's going to help us or help with someone else. Yeah, I'm a rah-rah guy for that. But when it comes to talking about me, I just say, I'm doing my job.
Well, that's what you got your brothers for. So your brothers
I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Email every sports writer across the country, Mountaineer Nation. That's how we get him into the Hall of Fame. Email, go after the sports writers,
give them a four
go after the voters,
time.
right?
Give them
Mountaineer Nation,
That'll be
flood
funny.
the voters of the NFL Hall of Fame. We want our boy in. Flood those people. I'll say it for you.
All right, thank you.
Listen, man. So he's already in. He's going to be there when you get in there.
Okay.
I better get my invitation.
Yeah, you'll
too.
get one too.
You know it. Listen, let's just talk about this right here. Mike Dunlap, he's a buddy of yours.
Oh my God,
Okay,
dear friend.
Mike, he's a guy that is the Hall of Fame, did the College Hall of Fame. He helps everybody. He was just named the hometown hero in Charleston. He's in a wheelchair, loading stuff in boxes and getting out of the wheelchair, getting back in. Go ahead, DT. You're very tired.
Because here's what you got to understand. Mike's a guy that really needs his kidney, really needs a kidney, and anybody that needs one needs it. But here's the thing. He's a guy that's out doing something. He's trying to help other people to better themselves, to people that were hit by a hurricane. He's trying to go out and get them people some clothes so that they're not outside. They're not sitting outside. Whereas a lot of people don't have that type of humanity where they want to go see their fellow brothers be lifted up and pick the people up so that they can prosper. And Mike's one of those guys that he wears his heart on his sleeve. I mean, here's a guy that literally, he's a great football player.
State player of the year from Poca.
All-state, All-American, everything. But the guy's got a problem with his kidney and he needs one. And the bad part is he knows he needs it, but he still has to get up and go help somebody else.
That's right.
And that's what I mean by paying it forward, folks. If you just look at Mike's a prime example. That's all I can say, because here's a guy that played football about as far as he could get. He got all the way through college as an All-American and everything. And the guy ran into a bad problem with his kidneys. And now he's suffering from it, but yet and still, he's still got enough gumption and fortitude to get up and know that he can still help some people. Even though he needs help himself, he can find somebody else that he can help, which is really admirable in my opinion, because how many people do you know that are sick and dying that they just want to lay there and crawl up in a hole and die? Here this man is still trying to live.
Yeah.
So, that, in my opinion, in my eye, just makes him a huge hero to me, because anybody that wants to hang on to life that bad is worth fighting for. So that's why I'm in the fight with him.
Right on, brother. I love you for that. I love you anyways. Love you especially for that. Mike is a man. Many people care about him. We're going to launch. We're going to do a launch here. We're going to do a campaign to help Mike. And he goes on dialysis like 4 times a week.
4 times a week.
4 hours a day.
Yep.
You can imagine that. The man needs a kidney.
Can't
He's a brother.
Can't drink more than a gallon of water.
That's right.
Can't drink more than a gallon of water or have any more than a gallon of liquid, I should say.
Yeah.
Liquid a day.
So we're going to go ahead and we're going to launch a campaign in the very short future. So please be ready. Please be ready to take care of our Mountaineer brother, and we're ready to go. DT, are you ready to go, man? You ready to do
Let's
this?
suit it up.
Tonight?
Let's get this started.
You got to go like, handshake with all the big money makers, man.
Bro, let's get this party started, because you know what? One thing I know about Morgantown, you can always have a great time.
Amen to that.
Oh, my goodness.
You can have a great time in
Hall
Morgantown.
of Famer. Hall of Famer. Oh, my goodness. There we go. Coach Don Nalen. Oh, yeah. Don't you love Spider-Man? DT, I'll tell you. I watched him all through it. I'm a Bills person. I'm a Steelers guy and I'm a Cardinals guy. And, basically in that order. But regardless, man, DT, he never, ever missed a Buffalo Bills game. He was always there, always played through the hurt, always played through the pain. And then you have to think about he's the leading tackler of the Bills all time. And don't tell me, listen, first of all, don't tell me because they lost the Super Bowls that they weren't a great team. The K-Gun of Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, Cornelius Bennett, Bruce Smith. It just keeps going on down the list. Great football players, great team. So we got to get DT, in my opinion, help. Just like I've been working for the past few years on helping Chuck Hawley get in the Hall of Fame. I can't do anything but try to raise awareness. That's all I have any kind of juice in, and I don't even know how much juice I have in that. But I do know this. The juice I have is going for the right causes. And that, of course, is Chuck Hawley. Well, I told you. Now, Bob Lilly's going to introduce him at the Hall of Fame this year. Mr. Cowboys, right? Mr. Dallas Cowboys, Bob Lilly. That is so cool. I can't wait to be there for that. But I want to tell you, I desire to be there for DT and his family. I love his family. I've known them for years and years. And that also includes, going back to his brother John, who was my teammate as well at WVU. So what do we have to do now? Darryl Talley have to go ahead and hey, look up the sports writers. I think we have it here. Let's say reach out to the NFL Hall of Fame, get DT inducted into the Hall of Fame class as soon as possible. There you go. Pro Football Hall of Fame. Very good. What do we got here in the chat room going on? Do we have anything, Joey? Anything worth your while? I said, come on, guys. I got the question. Are we winning? It looks like Kelly McCord says, yes, we are winning the football transfer portal war. Well, I think there's about 60%, 70% maybe done. I think we still have time for some new guys to come in, maybe flip some more guys, right? I think that we need help with the receivers. So it was good that we got, let me see, I got to go back and look at E.J. Horton, man. And then check this out. How about this guy, this University of Kentucky? What do you think of him? He's just been a freshman, but his name is, I'm going to butcher it, and I'm going to butcher as best I can. Tomiwa Durajai. What do you think of that? All right? I'm willing to try anything, man. All right. So we got him there, the defensive lineman, badly needed. Now, he is just a youngin', I think. Yes, he's a youngin', and 6'4", 254. Sounds like there's something the Mountaineers could really build on. Hopefully, he's a good kid, and hopefully he'll fit in really well at WVU. Now, I've always been telling you, this is the Frank Fear Hour, so we're going to get to him. But again, are we winning the transfer portal in your opinion? Kelly says yes, but Kelly, you never gave me too many reasons why. So if you want to say yes, it's okay. But let's get some juice behind that about why you think so, because you're not going to come on the show and go ahead and say something and not back it up, because that's just what we do, right? We back it up. And of course, I want to go ahead and get this out of the way now because I think it's important. And we're going to go out here with our Artisan Grange AGC, man, hemp dip. Get it at wolfmandip.com or at your Parmar stores or little general stores. But Artisan Grange hemp dip. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because when you go to kiss your girl, right, and you got that chew in there, you got some kind of tobacco, nicotine in your mouth, and you're like, oh man, I really want to kiss my girl, right? Or whoever, your special one, want to kiss anyone, right? Well, you know what? They're not going to appreciate it if you're out there spitting, chewing, and you know what I mean? I did it for years. Kind of gross. Lucky I was able to get married, to be quite honest with you. Well, this is Artisan Grange hemp dip. It's wolfmandip.com. You can go right to them. It's so easy. Or, like I said, Parmar stores, little general stores. Now, listen. Get the hemp. It's good, man. It's, you know what? It doesn't cause cancer. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And that's what I'm saying. Get healthy. Hemp dip is what it's all about. It's new, and it's been there for a long time. Hey, there's a lot of people on the eastern side of the world for 2,700 years that have enjoyed the old hemp product for medicinal purposes, and I'm not one to go ahead and stop this. Who's this? Yo. What's up, man? Okay, how you doing? Joey Foster. I'll just put this up here, show it. It's a Traveling Fools. Yo. Go high five. What do you think, yo? Traveling Fool? What do you think, man? Is WVU football winning the transfer portal war? Now, Bob Huggins is certainly won the transfer portal war. But if you want to get into it, he had a collection of dudes that are behind WVU basketball that really stepped up and put in a lot of money. And I'm not going to reveal their names because it's not my position to, but I know it was a nice collective group, and I know these people. And, I think sometimes you got to do that with football as well. But it's also bigger, more people, and that's the problem. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk with Frank Fear, my guy, the Frank Fear Hour, man. So let's go ahead. And I'm going to fire him up right here as soon as I get into the whole thing. There you go. It's Frank Fear. Now, listen, Frank is the author of the book, The Band of Brothers Then and Now, the 1966 to 70 Mountaineers. And, of course, he was a Mountaineer as well. He was a graduate, spent 40 years in the academia side over Michigan State. Very good dude, man. Very good. And I'm going to tell you this. he's got story after story on them. 20 of the players of then, they went ahead and they contributed to this book with Frank Fear, and his stories are great. So without further ado, let's go with the Frank Fear Hour. If I can get it up, there you go. You are now being recorded, sir, so anything you say is public dispensary. At Michigan State teaching, and then that whole, you're the academiac. But I did not mention the fact that you did get your master's from WVU, you and your wife, Kathy. So let that be said. This is a Mountaineer, guys.
All right.
He certainly is, and he's also Michigan State, and you know what? Michigan State's not too bad. So two fine institutions that I'm sure you're very happy to be associated with and proud of. But Frank, what story? Because last week, let's bring it back a little bit. I put the cart in front of the horse a little bit. Last week you were talking about Coach Bowden with a life lesson of not sitting on a lead. And this week, what do you have for us that you want to talk about from the book, The Band of Brothers, Then and Now, The Boys of the Mountaineers from 1966 to 70?
Here's the book.
All right, here you go. Thank you. I forgot my prop.
No, that's good. I was mentioning to you before we went on air, Wolfman, I was stimulated by something that came up last week when you guys were talking about your passion and always being upbeat. And I said to myself, okay, what's my passion? Well, one of the most important things in the Band of Brothers, other than talking about the guys, is history. I love football history. And since this book's been up, reporters have asked me and others have asked me, well, college football, is it better? Was it better back then? Is it better today? And my feeling is it's just different. It's just different. So today what I'm going to talk about really is Jim Carlin, who came to WVU from Georgia Tech in 1966, and look back through the lens of history. And one of the things I'm always fascinated by is that there are relatively few colleges where football and basketball are, say, equal. Take University of Alabama. It's really only recently with Nate Oates. They've had a good basketball team, but it's football at Alabama. And as I look through the lens of West Virginia, and, this is going to be maybe a debated point by some, football has not always been top dog in Morgantown.
Wait a minute. Hey, Frank, what are you talking about? I don't know who Jerry West is. Are you kidding?
Yes.
I have no idea. All I know is one of the Mountaineers with football. Now, you know what? That is so true, man. And there's just so many things back and forth you could say about the two and continue on, as I agree.
Yeah, and I would argue the good news, I would state this, the good news is now basketball and football, I think, are on equal footing. Same thing at Michigan State. When I got to Michigan State, it was a football school. Duffy Doherty and Bubba Smith, all that stuff, And then a guy by the name of Irvin Magic Johnson came down the road, and boy, did that change. And so now it's both. But the other thing, and it's in the book, is I went back and looked at WVU football history, and it has been very difficult over the years for the Mountaineers to sustain a winning football program. But boy, did they have that in the 50s with Art Pappy Lewis. Now, here's a tidbit. Here's a tidbit of football history. Art Pappy Lewis still is, even though he's passed away, the youngest coach in NFL history. This guy.
In NFL history or Mountaineer history?
Yeah, no, in NFL history. He was appointed head football coach in 1950 in Morgantown. But in 1938, before the war, he was the head coach of the Cleveland Rams. And he was 27.
Wow.
Yeah, 27 years old.
My goodness.
Oh, my God. So he came to Morgantown in 1950. And I'll tell you what, boy, what a run he had. from 1950 through 59. A little bit of struggle at the end. But my God, went to the 1954 Sugar Bowl. Players. You got I've got a list here: Gene Lamone, Bruce Bosley, Joe Marconi. What a player Joe Marconi was!
And he was a local boy too.
Oh yeah, Freddie Wyatt.
Yes, Freddie. Yes. Fred, yeah.
Oh, Sam Huff, and two of the guys I liked because they were both undersized. Jack Rabbits and Eddie Dugan. Those guys were undersized, but they were scatbacks. And then one of my favorite linemen, Bill Underdonk. These guys in the 50s, he could recruit. And in the book, I've got a picture from Life magazine from 1955 of him talking to a mother recruiting a Mountaineer player who we got. He was a tremendous recruiter. But then there was a little bit of down in the 60s. They couldn't sustain it. So this is where Jim Carlin comes in. So he comes in from Georgia Tech, and I'll tell you what, I never met Jim. Jim has passed away, unfortunately. But everybody I've talked to basically says this guy, wow, he was the real deal. He wanted to put WVU on the map on a sustained basis, and he took over the state by storm. Travel all over the place. And the thing that I think that would really define him, he had this combination of he knew public relations, which wasn't necessarily something that all coaches had back there. He hired really good assistant coaches, didn't micromanage them, gave them space to do their thing, and he went after character players. His approach was, if I get character players to come to Morgantown, I'm doing myself a big favor because these guys won't go off, the rails. There'll be guys who will listen, and he emphasized structure, emphasized discipline. And what he did was he also went to the athletic director and said, we got to get out of the Southern Conference. And here's another tidbit. It's in the book that I couldn't believe until I went back in history. When WVU went from independent to the Southern Conference in 1950, it made a lot of sense. And I bet you a lot of viewers don't know this, that at one time, the Southern Conference really was the rival of the Big Ten. This was before there was the Atlantic Coast Conference and the Southern, Southeastern Conference. And so teams like Alabama, Mississippi, and the ACC schools we know today, Maryland, Duke, North Carolina, they were on the Southern Conference. The problem is when West Virginia joined in 1950, the Southeastern Conference teams had already left, and the ACC teams left a few years later. ACC was established, founded in 1954. So by the time Carlin got there, he came from Bobby Dodd's staff. He says, we got to get out of this conference. I mean, West Virginia owned that conference, but it didn't really do much for them in football in particular. So he got them out, put them on the road to be independent. I think, as much as I am a huge Bobby Bowden fan, as I mentioned, I think to you last week, I had an opportunity to help him with recruiting on the academic side when I was a graduate student there. But, it was the program that Jim Carlin built. And here are two things that I wanted to share with you about Carlin's approach to discipline. Number one, and think about this if a coach could do this today. Every Sunday, the Mountaineers had to get up in the morning, suit and tie, and they would go to a Morgantown church. Every Sunday, different church each Sunday, they would go. They would clear out the front pews. They would walk in, sit in those pews. And his approach was, I want you to experience different religions, different faiths, and how they approach the Sunday services. You couldn't do that today. That wouldn't be possible. You just couldn't do it. But Dave Benn, who was out of Akron, linebacker, starred in 1970. He was on the team back then, obviously before that, because he was a senior in 1970. One day he slept in with a buddy. I think it was Dale Farley, but I didn't go back to my notes, who was a great linebacker and ended up being in the NFL. But they missed it. And so he goes, the end of the day, the coaches take him aside and said, we're going to have a vote tonight. And the players are going to vote if you're still on the team because you missed a Sunday service. That was, I mean, think about that. That was what he required his players to do. The other thing is, and Ken Juszkiewicz, who is well known in Morgantown,
Sure.
who was a great leader, still lives in Morgantown, solid business person, told me that one of the things that Carlin really emphasized, and one of the coaches told me this too, was academics. He had spies all over the faculty taking a look and making sure that players went to classes. And if there was any problem, the faculty would tell them, or the assistant coaches would tell them. He'd bring those guys in and give them a lecture. And they, 3 strikes, you're out. Well, Wayne Porter, who ended up becoming Dr. Wayne Porter, a dentist. Unfortunately, Wayne has since passed away. Cut a class. And he was suspended. But the full story is, I want to go back to the November 1969. West Virginia is playing Syracuse. You played against Syracuse.
Mhm.
You know how tough those guys
Sure.
are. Man, tough team. So very few bowls back in those days. Now, West Virginia ended up going to the Peach Bowl that year. But there are only 18 major teams that played in bowls back in those days. 5 top 20 teams in 1969. Wolfman, 5 top 20 teams in 1969 did not go to a bowl game. So they're at 7-3, going to Syracuse, last game of the season. And so what did he do? This is what Wayne Porter did. West Virginia is down 10-zip at half. 10-zip. If they lose that game, no Peach Bowl, nothing. They're going to sit home at 7-4. Well, in the third quarter, Wayne Porter catches a pass, 10-6. 33 seconds left in the third quarter. The great, and I mean this, the great Jim Braxton reels off a 65-yard run. West Virginia's up 13-10. Braxton was kicked extra points back then.
Yeah.
Missed the extra point after Porter's touchdown, right? So it's 10-6. So WVU holds on in the fourth quarter, wins 13-10, and gets the bid. Well, Porter cut that class around the same time. Porter doesn't play in the Peach Bowl. That's how serious Carlin was.
Yeah. You know,
That's how serious he
it's
was.
so interesting, Frank, because I met Jim Carlin myself. When I was working at WVU, I brought Coach Nalen, Jim Carlin, Coach Signetti, and Coach Bowden back for a reunion types of a weekend. We had a big event, and Coach Carlin was definitely getting on in age and was starting to experience health problems. But boy, I tell you what, he was the funniest guy I had ever talked to, witty as heck, and that's interesting because now you're telling me that this whole blue collar thing that West Virginia's been known for in my time, at least in our time, going back to those men. And so it was blue collar then. It was,
Oh, absolutely.
and Jim Carlin's the one that started. I did not know that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that.
And
I go,
I was going to say a lot of things. The other thing I was going to tell you, Wolfman, is that there are a lot of parallels between Art Pappy Lewis and Jim Carlin. I mean, they were phenomenal recruiters. And that blue collar ethic, you have to earn everything. There's no privilege here.
that is so interesting. I mean, that's a great story, man. Is WVU winning the transfer portal in football, not basketball? Real easy to say that Bob Huggins is winning right now. Is WVU winning the transfer portal? What they need to do with football?
Yeah, I think they're doing well. You know, it's such talk about differences between then and now. There wasn't a portal, obviously, back then, and you know, so many of these players are transferring. You look at that wideout that committed to West Virginia, and then he's at Colorado in a matter of hours. And then another player, the guy who just transferred from Marshall, who basically looked at Colorado and then said, I'm coming to Michigan State. excuse me, coming to WVU. Sorry about
That's
that.
okay.
I think about the two schools together. But the bottom line is, I have a friend who always says the proof is in the pudding. And you know this, you gotta mesh guys together and make a team. So we'll just have to see. But I think, based on what I've seen and read, I think it's going fairly well. And you know, I'm one of these guys that really hopes Coach Brown does very well this year. Hey, to open up at Penn State, to play Pitt at home, that's a tough assignment, but it's also very exciting. And so these guys have a lot to play for. The coaches have a lot to play for.
Frank Fear, thank you so much, man. Hey, the Frank Fear Hour was brought to you by Parmar Stores. There you go, Frank. Not quite an hour, man, but we gave you some highlights. Hey, last thing, man. Tell us, Amazon.com, where do you get the book?
Well, that's the great thing. It's available everywhere. Certainly, we encourage people to go to their local bookstores. But if they want to get online, you can find it at barnesandnoble.com, Books A Million, Amazon, of course. And we have a web page that is at a site called, easy to remember, The Sports Column. Just put it into your browser, The Sports.
I'll put it up for you, man.
Yeah, and then all you do is you go to that page and you scroll down, and there are probably 40 different options, both in the U.S. And overseas, that you can place an order for the book. So if people are watching this and they're living in the Netherlands or in Ireland, they can buy the book there. We've been very pleased with the sales. So far, they've gone, as a new release, Wolfman, we were in the top 10, all three versions, hard copy, soft paperback, and ebook for the month that new releases are up for. And so we're very pleased. We're very pleased. So we appreciate you promoting it too. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Let's keep it rolling. Next week, we want another good story coming from, let's call it the Frank Fear Hour on Mondays.
Yeah, we look forward to it.
All right, brother.
Thanks so much.
Take care. On Mondays. I don't know how that goes. All right. Well, I'll tell you, Frank Fair, hey, the band of brothers then and now, the 66 to 70 guys. I just love those guys. I was just going to do a shout out. Hey, Dickie Lee, what's up, brother? 32 starts at center. Man, thanks for that stuff you brought me, that illegal stuff. Really appreciate that, brother. You got Charlie Fish, man, Mickey, all you guys. You mean the world to me, and the times that we've had has just been some great times. I really enjoyed myself as the director of the WVU alumni for what I'm talking about for athletics, and it went for all the sports. But because it's a football show, I'm going to talk about football. And when I'm talking about football, it's like, I met the guys from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way up to the present. Had that great experience of being able to attend their events individually or collectively as a decade or whatever the teams were. And it didn't matter because they all wore that WV, man, right there. They wore it on their helmets, on their shirts, their shoulder pads, their pants. They represented not only WVU University, but really the state of West Virginia. I know Marshall's there, and that's cool too. I'm a Marshall fan. So, but West Virginia is the big daddy of the two of them, and Marshall's pretty darn good on its own, okay? So let's not worry or get involved in that discussion. What I'm saying, though, is that all these guys, they all are Mountaineers, and it doesn't go away. You saw Frank there. There's 20 different players contributed to that book, and they're passionate. They're all up supporting and doing what they can, because that memory to them seems like it was just yesterday. Those memories of Jim Carlin, Bobby Bowden, all those things that I would take for granted. They've lived it, and they've gone a long time, and they're still, to this day, the band of brothers. And that's really cool. Okay, so listen, what we're going to get into now is, I want to first say, is that Joey's going to get after me if I don't do this. You saw me put it up a couple times. Here we go, guys. If you can, subscribe over here to the voice of college football, West Virginia. The West Virginia, it's the Mark Rogers TV. Joey wants to get the subscriptions up, so go to YouTube, subscribe. If you're watching this on my Twitter, on the Facebook, the network that we have, and all of you, the group Facebook people, thank you so much for making you a part with my network. I appreciate you letting me get on there and show, because I think we're doing a lot of great stuff for WVU. I think we're doing a lot of great stuff for the game of football, and I think we're doing a lot of great stuff for our advertisers as well. And speaking of which, I'm going to come back after this cut, and we're going to do this advertisement, and we're going to go ahead and break down some of the spring games. So I just got to get this up. And remember, don't go away. Subscribe to West Virginia football at the Voice of College Football. That's right. It's the Wolfman's Call, man. And we're going to be bringing you material all through the summer. And then when we get into the season, it's over, man. Crashing the airwaves, taking it over, and enjoy our great sponsors, because they're the ones that are bringing this to you.
Dan Cava has the largest selection of new Camrys in the area, and with $1,000 off sticker price, now is the best time to purchase your new Camry. We also have a wide variety of Tundras, some featuring the all-new TRD lift kit. And don't forget, all new Toyotas come with 2 years or 25,000 miles worth of free service from our award-winning service department, which you can schedule online, by phone, or through the Toyota app. Come see us at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
Stationers, #1 office supplier in West Virginia, always in stock. Wow. You know, I really love watching that commercial reel, because I get to eat and think about food and hunger, and then I think about Tropics and all the great food that Tropics has. And then you have Cava and Banco accounting, and you got Danny Cava, Toyota World, man. Doesn't get any better with Danny. And of course, you got Bobby there and Wilson Martino, great dentist out there in West Virginia, man. Love them. You got Northwest Central Airport. They're coming out, man. They're going to be flying big time. You're not going to have to just go to Pittsburgh for all the easy flights out there. Northwest Central Airport of West Virginia is coming big, man. Look at all these sponsors. I love them. I love them. And Menards. Man, did you ever have a meatball from Menards? It's like old school Italian, man. It just doesn't get a lot better. It really doesn't if you like food. But as I promised, we're going to bring up this right here with, we're going to break down some spring game. So let's get right into this area. But before I do, question of the week. And we got guests this week. We got Bo Orlando, the original Italian Stallion, tomorrow. And then we're going to have Aaron Beasley, National Football Foundation Hall of Fame, as nominated him for the Hall of Fame. Hopefully he gets on that final ticket to docket. We talked to Mark Plancy last week, who's the president of the chapter of West Virginia. Tomorrow Wednesday, we'll be talking to Aaron Beasley. And then I'm hoping, I'm just really hoping that I get the Jay Paterno. Jay Paterno coached 17 years at Penn State with his father, Joe Paterno, Joe Paul. And he's a classy man, classy guy. And I'm going to tell you this. He's also on the board of trustees at Penn State. He has written numerous books on football. He has a radio show called Pigskin Stew that I help contribute on. And he has a TV show weekly with Tommy Bradley, Coach Tommy Bradley, that was also at WVU for a short time when Dana Holgerson was here, but he coached 40 years, and we'll also get him on. But he's coming out. Guess what he's going to do? He's going to tell you exactly what Penn State is. And when I have Bo on there, and Aaron, or not Bees, probably, I don't think they're playing Penn State, but I get Tommy Robson, whose son Anthony is now being recruited by all these major schools, your Marylands, your Pitts, up there, Syracuse, just everybody, West Virginia. So he's going to talk about it. He went this whole spring and traveled to all these schools and got to see what they're about. And he's going to tell us on Wednesday as well. And Thursday, we got Jay Paterno, hopefully. So it's a big full week, and you just never know who's going to show up. It's guys that just say, I got something to say. Well, because this is the question here is WVU football winning the transfer portal war? You just heard Frank Fair. Frank said, yeah, he thinks they are. You heard Joey or Kelly McCourt, not Joey. Joey says, no, that's 2-1. Joey, you're losing right now. But right now is that West Virginia is winning the West Virginia transfer portal. We need more responses, more things going on here. But as we get into it, let's bring this up here. Let's switch over to my super duper. Throw this out there. That's right. Is that cool or what? Let's get this voice of college football off there. Look at that. I am good at what I do. Okay. So we left off here. I think I went over this the last time, but this was so good. I got excited. You're going to see 11 personnel. 3 up top. This goes the trips. You got the tight end at the bottom, and you're going to see a rope, and I mean a rope, with someone in his face. That's Nico Marchion. And, I got to say this about Nico. This young man is 16 years old. He has 4 years left to play. Nico does. 4 years left. And when you have a high-quality young man like that, a guy who brought his team back in high school, and he was throwing up when he was throwing the football for the winning scores. I mean, that's a kid that puts a team on his back. Now, when's his future? Is it this year? I don't know. Is it coming soon? Yeah, I think it's really coming soon. Check this out, because this is good. Is he afraid? Is he afraid to take a hit? No, he's not afraid. You know why he's not afraid? Watch. You're going to come here. You're going to see the blitz right here. They're going to bring 5, okay? You see the twist? Do you see the middle linebacker and the weak side? Well, they go ahead and they go around and come out. And look, he throws the ball, and he's going to get hit. He gets hit right there. Now, this is what I really like. The tight end, Cole Taylor, right? He's got to go and make that one-handed catch. Boy, I'll tell you what. Let's stop it. Look down there at myself right there. You see that's pretty cool right there. I just wanted to point that out real quick. Yeah, that was a gift. Here we go. Let's watch it again now. Back to the action. Watch the twist now. Watch the defensive lineman separate to make a hole there for the twisting linebackers. And they get real close to Nico. But what does Nico do, man? He stands in there like a tough guy. Check it out. Okay, I want to see better operation out of the left guard right there. He opened up the gate. They call it a swinging gate. What does that mean? Well, if you're squared to the line of scrimmage, the ball's right here, and you're squared to it, and you see a defender coming at you, well, that defender attacks your shoulder. Like, that's what it's supposed to do. So this is a good job here about a linebacker of blitzing. And when he goes ahead and he does that, and he attacks his shoulder, where are you the strongest? Right down the middle, right? You're not strong as you are here in your core strength. You hear about core strength, right? So you're not strong here. So they attack the shoulder. Well, what you have to do as an offensive lineman, you have to move your feet so that now he's attacking your core, because you just moved this from here to over here. Do y'all see that? Okay, is that you're moving your feet, and that's what the offensive lineman here is not doing. He's not moving his feet, so he opens up, and that makes him do this, tilt, and become a swinging gate. You'll see it right here. Watch the left guard, and this is very, very slow motion. I hit on here. Watch the left guard. Okay, look at that. He attacks the shoulder line. Exactly what I'm telling you. He doesn't move his feet. Now, he's just a young pup, so he's got to learn that. And we're not going to let anybody slide here. Everybody's accountable, okay? I was accountable. I had to be accountable. I had bad days, okay? I had to go ahead and come back and fight just like this young guy is doing. And watch. Look at him turn his shoulders. Because he didn't move his feet and keep his shoulders square, he became a swinging gate, a swinging open gate. And that's why this linebacker here is going to put the pressure. And hey, that's Lee Koba. Lee's tough. Again, so I'm not saying anything, but these are the fundamentals. And watch this throw. That's a rope, man. That's a great job. And look at that. This is why I love a tight end. This is why I love a tall tight end. If this doesn't get you excited, I'm not sure what you can do on offense, because this right here is a fantastic catch. And if you watch right here, there's play action. Again, look at here. You see the young guard. Okay, he's got to learn. He's got to get better. It's all just a process. It's experience. But he comes through and watch this. There's not much separation here with Lamp Wilson. Or Wilson Lamp, excuse me. Wilson Lamp. I always get those backwards. Sorry, brother. And making this catch, that is the sign of some good stuff to come on the offense. Not bad coverage at all. Not bad whatsoever. What's the next play here? Still Nico. Okay. Oh, it looks like this here is a counter here. And let's watch what happens here. Nico's going to hand it off. And not a bad call, because if you look at Nico, his guy is the defensive end. Now, the defensive end is up top. He's got that outside. So give the ball. That's a good decision by Nico to give the ball. Let's go back a little bit. There we go. And what kind of coverage we got here? Oh, it looks like we're going cover 3 right there. And I see that. Not bad. But look at this hole here. This is nice. Okay. Now we're cooking with some fried chicken wing grease, right? Because you love that fried chicken wings, right? That's the good stuff. Well, if you got good grease, you can cook good chicken wings. I'm from Buffalo. I know these things. And again, look at the head down, shoulders down, not the head down, excuse me. Shoulders down. Yeah, I like this run. It's the counter. Wow. Okay. There's the tight end there. He's kicking out here. And here's the tackle, or the guard, excuse me, is getting the linebacker here. This is nice. Look at it. You see here, you got helmet on helmet, player on player. And that's why you're going to see this. What does he get? He's got to get at least 6 or 7, right? Yep, shoulders down. That's a nice job right there. And that's called an offensive line that's working together with the tight end. That's a nice counter, right? Good job by Nico. He recognizes not to keep it. Counter. I mean, it could have been a call where the running back's going to get it anyways. But regardless, it's nice counter and 6-7 yards. They talked about being a running team, right? Don't tell me that's not boring right there, folks. That's good football. That's good football when you can push the defense back. Push them back and say, at our will, are we going to enforce? That's what you want to see Mountaineers do. That's good right there. Oh, they're going to watch it again. Check it out. Boom, boom. Pop, 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 pop. Nice. Catching defenders flat-footed, too, so that you can fall forward for more yardage. That's nice. Good job, offense. Offense. Got that one. What do we got here? Oh, okay. So, got handoff underneath the center. Very nice there. Can we move that back a little bit? Here. Let's move it up. There we go. Okay. So now we're looking at here what looks to me like 11 personnel. Up top, you got a wide receiver standing up. Well, it's a very tight formation. You have Nico under center, and you have the tight end at the bottom. And it could be, actually, that might be 12 personnel. That might be 2 tight ends right there, because you got one with his hand down, and then you got one in the hip pocket. 12 personnel, one receiver up top. Let's see what happens. It's a run, getting them all tight together. And, oh, that's a 3rd and short is what that was. And you can see here, young tight end came in, and there's a little disruption there. Listen, this is what the deal is on short yardage plays. Short yardage plays is the offense, okay, has to stop penetration. The defense wants to penetrate, right? That line of scrimmage. Offense is your job not to let it penetrate. Well, you saw a guy come flying through, because that means that you are not getting your head across the body of the defender. Okay, especially if the defender's on the inside of you, and you got to try to go ahead and scramble block and cut him out. That's what you need. You need to stay low and get in front. But you got to go, and it looks like the tight end is a little late off the ball. Now, that's okay. It can happen. Don't let it happen again. You see it happening more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times. Well, then guess what? You got an issue there that you have to take care of. And you say is, listen, I'm going to get you. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take what I used to do with my kids. Okay, I used to take a 2x4, and I put them in a 3-point stance, and I would say hit, and they would either get off, and I'd swing that 2x4 right behind them. And if they got off, they never had an issue. But if they didn't get off the ball, boom! Oh, sore fanny there, Dad. Now, I didn't hit him hard enough that it's going to be a serious injury, but hit him hard enough. They didn't let it happen again. Guess what? They got off the ball. That's right. Get off the ball. Don't be slow. Know the snap count. Anticipate and go. And it's short yardage, man. You don't have, see, here's the thing. Oh, short yardage, we'll punt. No. When I played, we didn't have, if I came off the field and told Mike Jacobs, our line coach and offensive coordinator, if I told him, hey, coach, I'm sorry, I didn't cut that guy off with my head and didn't get in front of him, he penetrated the line, he'd be like, all right, guess what? Someone else is going to go in for the next play or the next series until you get your head out of your can. That's what football is that, listen, you don't accept that. You do your job. And that's when you get 1 out of 11, all 11 doing their job, but you're doing it out of a sense of urgency. And that's what I want to see this team. Sometimes when you're younger and you don't see a sense of urgency, or we're going to live for another. No, there needs to be a sense of urgency about every single down. And the good ones know that. The great ones do that. And it's a sense of urgency every down. It might be your last, who knows? But you know this, is that you might not have another opportunity to make that strike. Here we go. Good job, defense. You see Vestarin getting in there. And again, it's dudes at Koba. Man, that's not good enough on a short yard situation. Not good enough. Just keep watching it here. Go ahead, get in there, cause a disruption. You know, get in front, tight end. Get in front. Don't come off the ball late. It's just, I hate that. I hate it. Now, that's when you start talking about disciplined football. Discipline is getting off the ball. Okay, let's jump down at you. Nico, this is Nico on the roll. Okay, you see him rolling out. There's no real threat. He's got one coming, but a quarterback's going to have that on a rollout. And he sees no one open, and he throws the ball out of bounds. So I'm going to tell you what there, young man, young buckaroo, Nico. Don't mind you throwing the ball away whatsoever. Throw it out of bounds. Making sure that it's out of play. If you're going to make that throw, good decision. Now, chuck it, man. Just so there's no question as to anyone coming up and making some kind of freak catch. Okay, you got to hand the ball off here. Oh, that's okay. Not bad. Now, you got to wonder why so much of the cutback was available here. So somebody on the offensive line was coming down and cleaning house right there. So again, here comes the tight end. This is the same tight end. I think it's TD, Traylon Davis, that was short or late off the ball on the 3rd down. But here he comes, and I think you're going to see him do some good things. Okay, he's got to cut off. Oh, that's what do you see that? Pop. So he went down and helped the tackle, and there's a pop. See, there's a guy. Guess what he didn't do? He wasn't thinking about the 3rd down. Okay, because he's like, okay, I was a little late that time. Ooh, what do? Forget about it. Come on off, and don't let the last play ruin your next play. That's what it always is. Just like don't let a losing game make you lose again the next week because you got your head in your can. That's excellent. Nice job, running back. Putting your shoulders. That's 4 or 5 yards, 6 yards after after getting hit and falling forward. Okay, after 4 yards. That's really nice. Look at here. You got 11 personnel, and I'm looking here at the defense, and it looks to me like it could be some type of cover 3 to man free. Okay, I'm not sure really what it is right now. You got the tight end here. You got 11, 2 receivers up top. You got the hip by hip over the tackle, and then the receiver at the bottom. What do we got? It's good to know. 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end. There's 2 tight ends and 1 running back. It would be what? It would be 12. And that tells you how many receivers you have left. Because if you had 21 personnel, that means you only have 2 receivers because you could only have 5, right? You only have 5. So 2 running backs, 1 tight end. That means you got 2 receivers in the game. So 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end, means you got 3. See, I could still add, man. As old as I'm getting, I could still add. There we go. Nice there. Oh, yes. I like this. Hard running. Oh, that's Triple J, man. That's Justin Jump Cut Johnson. Now, he didn't jump cut there, but he ran hard. And what I really liked, and I think we get, that's your first down, buddy. Look at this offensive line. It's hat on hat. It's nice. I like this. And going ahead, he's going to break it out to the outside. And, oh, look what he's doing. He's putting his shoulder pads. And even though he's going kind of at a 45-degree angle, his pads are square. His base is strong. And he's using the stiff arm coming out, okay? They're fighting. Look, even though he is going at a 45-degree angle, he's still going forward, getting more yards. And guess what, man? There you go, baby. Yeah. That was what, 6 yards after contact? That's good stuff. Again, what do you got? You got 11 personnel. You got 1 running back. You got 1 tight end, hip by hip, 2 receivers at the bottom, 1 up top. Looks like you got cover 4 coverage coming in. Oh, Nico. Okay, he's got to go up top. Okay, I like to see that defender out of his face so he can step more into the throw. Right off the bat, I can tell you that. And then, what are we watching? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so who is that? Oh, I like this guy, too. That's Cortez. Yeah, that's Cortez. This guy's going to be a good receiver. He's going to have a good season for the Mountaineers, in my opinion. But what does he do? Come on, man. What do you got to do here, right? Good route. You're running. Nico, a little bit stronger ball, but this is what we call 50-50. Okay, this is still okay for Cortez to go ahead and get the ball. All right, there you go. Okay, right there. Now, it's 50-50. The ball is there. He's tracking it. All right, he's tracking it. You got to be able. It's tough. I'm not saying I could do this, okay? I'm saying I got wide receivers. That's why we get kids that are athletic like this. So understand what I'm saying. But as you're watching this, you got to get some air, man. You got to meet the ball at the highest point where you can reach it, because this is what happens when you don't. And you got to have body control. Again, it's not a terrible job by him, but he could have a shot at it. I think you're going to see an end zone shot coming up with this. There we go. Well, all right, maybe there's one more. Again, there's got to be more effort by the offensive guy. There's got to be more effort. And he's good enough receiver to do so. That's for sure. Okay, now it looks like we've got 11 personnel. You got the tight end hip by hip, and then now we have motion. We're going to go to sail, and it's going to be a run here, it looks like. Okay, and we got JJ again, Triple J's. Boy, I like this kid, man. You know, as CJ Donald said, and you all know I love our guys, Mathis, you know, Tony Mathis. And these other guys are just cool, too. I love my Mountaineers, man. All right, sail motion. You got Nico's going to snap the ball. Look at the defense here. Okay, they're playing some form. It looks like cover 3. Coming down, nice block on the inside slot. But it looks like a tight end. And that's, 7, 8 yards. That's a nice job right there. You got to like it. You got to appreciate it, man. And we got any more? Okay. Let's see, what do we got here? Again. We're going to have to move on down here. Keep going, go. Be quicker with your click. There you go. Okay. All right. Once again, 11 personnel. Tight end and hip by hip on the bottom towards the field, and you got 2 receivers to the boundary. So it's a double and effective reality. And you got 1 receiver down to the bottom. Okay. Boy, I tell you what. Wow, look at that. This is the same exact play, I believe, if I remember right, as you saw with Garrett Green. And once again, it looks like Preston Fox here is open. And maybe he missed one there because Jalen Anderson's getting the ball. And we'll see. Anyways, this right here, I might sit there and tell, hey, Nico, yeah, you might want that one back. And I'm going to tell you there, Mr. Miller, you got burned on it by Mr. Carter, who's a very good football player, but you got to keep giving up inside. You can't stay outside. Okay, when you're in cover 4, it's simple. When you're a corner, make them go outside. They want you to turn those receivers outside because the safeties in the middle are not over the top of the covers. They will cover deep, but first they got to make sure that one of them, especially the one to the field, is there for support for the run. Okay? So in cover 4, so you can't give that inside release. And he's young, and he's going to learn. And that's just the way it is. And again, this is what spring ball is about. Repetition. That's why I keep telling everybody. You know, they're like, look, it's just a spring game. No, it's not, man. Every single repetition counts. Every single rep in the spring since they started counts. It really does. Because guess what? There's something, and you're going to find out from Tommy Robsock and Bo Orlando how hard it is and was for them to play at Penn State. And you're going to find out from Jay Paterno, Penn State's got cooking. So, again, every single play is critical, in my opinion. And maybe I'm old fogey. Maybe I'm old school, but I don't care because when I was old school, we kicked a lot of can. And it was physical. We kicked can because we had discipline and we had a sense of urgency. And I'm not just trying to go back and saying we were better. We're not. It's not what this is about. This is about trying to help my young brothers become better, trying to help Mountaineer Nation get re-educated about where this is at. I'm trying to show where it's at and what's good. And then what's not good, okay, good, let's go. I'm not going to sit there in the cookie cutter. I'm going to tell you, this is the truth. All these guys, they got to get better, and they can because they're going to be a lot better as they get developed and more developed and more developed, more developed. And then all of a sudden, those Penn State guys that are snoring out snot, won't be so snoring right back at them. What the heck? That's what it's all about. I want 2 bulls, baby. 2 bulls going at it, and the Mountaineers. And I want that attitude, and I want this team to be displayed as that attitude. That's what I want. I want toughness. I want to see toughness on the field. I want to see nastiness. I want to see nasty. I want to see something, as they used to say, coming out of the side of your neck, just drooping down there. Because that means you got some kind of stank in you, and you're kind of nasty. That's what that means. All right, so we're past our hour. Once again, I get going here trying to break down some more film. We'll continue that as well. Again, tomorrow we got Bo Orlando talking about, hey, Big Bo, he's back at Berwick High School in Berwick, Pennsylvania, one of the all-time great high schools, and a high school that has fed WVU, and with Charlie Fedorko, Tommy Robsock, Jake the Snake Kelchner, Kurt Keel, and of course, our captain, our Capitan, El Capitan, Bo Orlando. All right, folks. Well, that's it for the Wolfman's Call. Oh, love to do sign, baby. Love it. Let's go. And if you guys, all week long, it's going to be this. Are we winning the transfer war portal? Ha ha! Have a great day. We'll see you.